Hello and welcome to Jason's Macintosh Museum. I'm Jason, your host, and what we're looking at today is a Macintosh 2CX from 1989. Now, the Macintosh 2CX was, in a sense, nothing more than a more compact version of the Macintosh 2X, which was launched in late 1988. In a sense, you got all of the power of the 2X, and you also got most of the expansion capabilities of the 2X, but in a smaller, more desktop-friendly case. If you've ever looked at the older Macintosh 2, 2X or 2FX that all share the same full-size Macintosh 2 case, you'll know that they're fairly large and cumbersome, especially if you want to put them onto your desk. So what Apple wanted to do was simply take the 2X and make it a bit smaller so that it would be an easier fit on a desk. And that's what the 2CX is basically. If you compare the 2CX with the 2X in terms of the case, the 2CX is probably only about 2/3 of the width. It's about the same height and about the same depth. But crucially, the case of the 2CX was designed so that you could either run it in a horizontal or in a vertical configuration. So you could actually attach little rubber feet to the sides of the case, tip the case up on its side and use it like that, so it took up even less space on your desk. But apart from the case, there's really not much of a difference between the 2CX and the 2X. Both had the same Motorola 16MHz 68030 CPU, along with the 16MHz Motorola 68882 numeric coprocessor. Both came with 1MB of memory as standard and could be expanded up to 128MB with 8 30-pin SIMs. And also, neither the 2CX or the 2X had built-in video. You had to put a NUBUS video card in to use the system. But the only thing that you lost with the 2CX over the 2X was the expansion. The large case that the 2X used gave you a total of 6 NUBUS expansion slots, which was quite useful for someone who needed to install video cards, network cards, extra SCSI cards, video capture cards, and that sort of thing. But with the 2CX, you only got 3 NUBUS slots, and one of those had to be taken up by default with a video card, so in a sense you only had 2 to use. But the advantage of a smaller case is a reduced footprint, and it's also a lot quieter in operation than the 2X was, due to the 2CX having a smaller power supply with a smaller, slower spinning fan. The other key difference between the 2X and the 2CX is the case design. Not only is the case a lot smaller on the 2CX, but it's much easier to take apart. In fact, this case would really qualify as what we've known as a toolless case. In other words, you don't need any tools whatsoever to take it apart. Having said that though, some 2CXs have a single Phillips head screw inside the case that you have to remove, but other than that, you can take the entire system apart and remove all the components without any tools at all. So that's in itself quite an achievement. Certainly taking a 2 or a 2X apart does require the removal of quite a few screws. So as for the other specifications of the 2CX, it was launched in March of 1989, about 6 months after the larger 2X was launched, and it was discontinued in March of 1991. Main CPU, Motorola 68030 at 16MHz, with a 68882 numeric coprocessor at 16MHz, 1 meg of memory is standard, expandable up to 128MB, and 3 NUBUS slots for expansion. You could also look at the 2CX as really a Macintosh SE30 in a desktop case, because the specifications are more or less the same. So that's all there is really to say about the Macintosh 2CX. So what we'll do now is have a closer look at it. Here's the front view of the Macintosh 2CX, and you can see that, like a lot of Apple's products in the late 1980s, it utilises the so-called Snow White design language. whereby you have the horizontal grills on the front and the grills on the top and on the sides. And in that sense, it looks very much like the Macintosh 2, 2X or 2FX that all used the larger Macintosh 2 style case. But what made the 2CX revolutionary was just how much smaller the case was when compared to the 2X or 2FX. And in fact, to illustrate that, I can get a Macintosh 2 style machine, I think it's a 2FX I've got here, and we'll see how they compare in terms of their size. So here we have an old Macintosh 2 with the 2CX sitting on top, and as you can see there is quite a definite difference in the size of the case. Now, the actual height of the case is about the same as is the depth, but it's only, I would say, about 2/3 of the width, and that made all the difference. And as I'll show you in a moment, the other key feature of the 2CX, and in fact the 2CI that shared the same case, was that you could have the machine running safely on its side, which is something that you couldn't do with the old Macintosh 2. And I should also mention that the 2CX, because it makes extensive use of plastics inside the case, is significantly lighter than a Macintosh 2, 2X or 2FX. We're back at the Macintosh 2CX now. So let's have a look at the front panel in a bit more detail. So starting from the top, we have the various these slots, or almost probably cooling slots on the front here. And in the top right, we have the indicator, the activity indicator for the built-in hard disk. Down from there, we have the built-in 1.4 megabyte floppy drive, the super drive. Note that the 2CX could only take one internal floppy drive, although it did have a external floppy port on the back, so you could attach a second disk if you wanted to.